I was honored and privileged to be able to serve in the United States Marines from 2000 to 2004. And as you can imagine, with what happened in 2001, the things that I did in the Marine Corps were pretty eventful, and I got to go to a lot of places and serve this country in a lot of different ways. This Friday, November 10th, the Marine Corps celebrates its birthday, and that's a big deal for Marines around the world. If you ask any Marine, it's a big deal. You get the day off. It's the only guaranteed day off that a Marine has every single year. And of course, with Veterans Day on Saturday, I thought it'd be really neat to take a look at 5 EDC items that I would have loved 20 years ago in the United States Marines. Let's take a look. Did you know we just passed 10,000 subscribers here on the channel? We are growing and we want you along for the ride. So, if you love knives, flashlights, bags, pouches, all EDC gear and everything in between, make sure you're subscribed, because why not? It costs you nothing and it really helps us out. And don't forget to make the algorithm happy by hitting that like button as well. We appreciate it in advance. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so the first thing that I would have loved to have is a good belt. We had these awful little web belts and we were issued those and really didn't have the opportunity to kind of upgrade my belts even when I went to Iraq and Afghanistan. And frankly, didn't know that stuff really existed yet. But this is the EDC belt from Core, K-O-R-E. And I really appreciate Carl sending this over from Core. And this is a coreessentials.com. You can go there and check out all of their belts as well. I'm going to give you a side view of that. It is one of those really stout tactical belts. If I'm trying to twist it right here. And how is this different from any other tactical belt, you would ask? Well, you can see the buckle is different, so we'll go over that here in just a second. This is the X3 model, and as you can see, it is a kind of a nylon. You've got an alloy gunmetal finish here on the buckle. They advertise this nylon outer core, super fiber inner. There is a belt keeper, a little elastic, almost like a ranger band, included with this, and so you get that. You'll see how that works here in just a second. But this is a little bit of a different kind of tactical belt, because if you'll notice inside of here, you can see all these tracks. This is 40 quarter-inch size positions that you can put this belt into. This belt that I've got right here is 1.5 inches wide. It fits standard belt loops just fine. It's going to fit your gun clips, any kind of EDC carrier that you have really, really well. And as you can see here, the buckle is pretty outstanding. Now, I had to actually, what was really cool is they let you cut this to size. So I'm going to overlap some video here and let you see of my unboxing with this, but you can see that I followed the instructions. You actually cut this belt, you size it, and you cut it with a knife here, and then you screw these 2 Allen screws in right here, and it's not going anywhere. It is really quite nice, and you've got this nice little release mechanism. Let me show you how it works here. So obviously this is on your waist, and I'll get a few shots of it on your waist, obviously, on my waist. I've been wearing this belt for the past 3 months. And you go through here, and you can hear the ratcheting effect. And so you got that right here, and I've got mine set. I usually wear a 38 or 40 size pants. I've got a pretty decently big waist. So I sized it to myself, and I wanted to cut right at 44 just to give me a little bit of overlap. But you can see the ratcheting effect here, and it is just really nice to have. This belt is not going anywhere. Of course, you're going to be able to clip anything onto this. They have a bunch of different colors. This fits any waist size 24 to 54. You get an extra large that comes in black only, that will fit 54-inch to 72-inch waists. And so you can basically fit any size waist. So let me show you how this little belt buckle fits here. You hit this release, so when you get ready to release it, you hit this release right here, and you just slide it all the way back out. And it is a marvelous, marvelous design. I love the way this belt buckle looks. It doesn't look like a tactical belt when you have it on. I've been wearing this with church clothes quite a bit, and it looks really, really nice. So this is the Core Essentials. I love that ratcheting right there. This is the Core Essentials belt, and again, you can check it out at coreessentials.com. They do sell on Amazon, but be sure you check the link in my description for, I think it's 10% off. I'll have that on the screen here. Make sure you check that link in the description for that 10% off there. These belts are fairly economical. They're going to be a little bit more than your regular belts, but obviously they're a tactical brand belt, and you cannot go wrong with this. It's really, really cool. Go ahead and check them out. So a tool that I would have loved to have had in the United States Marines working on aircraft would be the Leatherman Free T4. In fact, any Leatherman I would have taken at the time. I know they were making Leathermans back in 2002, 2003 when I was working on airplanes, but I got a little story behind this one. In fact, I got very excited about the Leatherman Arc, and it's an investment. So I decided to buy my first Leatherman product, and this is actually it. I have barely used this. I've used it a few times in the field, in the job here, but this is my first This is my first real Leatherman. I've had fake Leathermans before. I've had knockoffs. I've had all sorts of stuff. I've never bought an actual Leatherman. And so as I was using this, I thought, man, this would have been amazing to have in the Marines, working out on the flight line, working out on we had a lot of specialized tools, but sometimes you just needed a flathead screwdriver or a good knife to cut something. And man, it would have been super handy to have one of these. Let me show you what's in this. You've got, number one, you've got about 12 tools in this, and I love the action. The thing I love about this mostly is the action in this multi-tool. You can flip this out with one hand, and you can kind of put it in with one hand as well if you really wanted to. This is a thick tool right here, as you can see, but it's got a really nice deep carry pocket clip, but it's got 12 different tools in it, and it's really slick. This is kind of my introduction to maybe getting something like the Leatherman Arc here in the future, but again, I don't have enough money for that one quite yet. But again, you've got a 420 HC steel knife, no serrations on this knife. I don't know if there's an option for serrations or not, but you've got a 420 HC steel knife. And I love what's right here is the magnetic closure. So you've got this nice magnetic closure, but you've also got these little tabs right here, as you can see. You've got these little tabs that you can pull out the tools that you need. And so you've got some spring, let's go over here and talk about, they've got tools on both sides. So you've got spring action scissors. And so these scissors, they are spring action scissors. They cut really well. They're not as good as Swiss Army knife scissors, but you know, you'll take what you can get. But they're spring action, so they go back to that, and then you can push them back. You have to hit this little release right here, and then it goes back in, and it's just a smooth action. I love this tool. So you got spring action scissors. You've got a Phillips head screwdriver and a bottle opener, of course, because what tool would be, you got to have the bottle opener. You've got a sewing awl, AWL, I can't really say that, a sewing awl, but this can also double as a flathead screwdriver if you needed to in a pinch. It's a small flathead screwdriver, as you can see. And then on the other side here, you've got two other tools right here. You've got kind of a medium screwdriver attached to a really good crosshatch file on one side and then a straight file on the other. And so you can make we can make fine filings with this and do a little bit of that on the other side. But I love that. And you've got, again, watch this closure right here. It's smooth. It doesn't stick. They don't come out. And of course you've got a package opener, which is something that you could use. This has got a sharp edge to it right here, and a flathead screwdriver / scraper, whatever. But that's not all. That is not all. You've got a couple of other things here. You've got right here, tucked in right here, you've got some tweezers. And again, they're just tweezers, just like you would get on a Swiss Army knife, Victorinox or anything like that. But it's just really nice to have when you need them. All in one tool. Give you a little size comparison here. This is a regular Sharpie. And so if you're looking at the thickness, the size here, that's what you're going to get. I really like how this fits in the pocket. I really thought that it would bulge quite a bit because it is really a lot thicker. Let me give you a comparison here to the knife I'm carrying today. This is the Runt 5 from ProTech, and you can see here the size and how much thicker it is. So it's not incredibly thick, but it's just thick enough to be like, whoa, whoa, that's a thick boy. But this one is actually really nice, and it doesn't really bother you too much in the pocket when you're putting it in your pocket to use on an everyday basis. I would have loved to have had this in the Marine Corps. All right, so you guys remember Surefire? Is Surefire still in making flashlights? I wonder, because this is the original Surefire that I bought while I was in the Marine Corps. This is the E2 Executive, and it's very similar to the Aviator. I had an Aviator as well, but I remember the whole marketing thing for the Aviator, and look at that, it still works. The Aviator was that you could light up the tail section of a C-130, and I'll put that on the screen here to let you see what that looks like. The E2 Executive, the Aviator, and a couple of the other lights they had a marketing campaign that actually had that on the marketing campaign, and I thought, man, that is so cool, because I worked on C-130s, and I thought that was so cool. So I ended up buying one of these. It was crazy expensive, like $200 and something, but it was basically indestructible. Let me give you a little bit more on that, and show you a little bit more detail about that old Surefire that I got here. This thing's probably 15, 20 years old. It's easily over 20 years old. But when I thought about that, I was like, man, they did this with an incandescent bulb. You can't do anything with it. It's got screw-on cap, and it's just got it's got an incandescent bulb, not an LED. Well, just take a look at this one. This is the light that I wish I would have had if I was in the Marine Corps. This is the Olight Warrior Mini 3. And this has so many more features that this Surefire back in the day did not have. In fact, both of these lights are loads better than those old moonbeams. We used to call them moonbeams in the Marine Corps. The moonbeams that we used to have, those little right angle flashlights. Cool design, but they were terrible, and they had terrible battery life, and you were always looking for D batteries. But let me tell you this right here. This is exactly what I would have bought if I was in the Marines. You've got a tail switch on this bad boy. See how bright it gets? You've got a front switch on this guy, and you can actually hold it down to increment. It's got a low, medium, high setting. That low setting is a moonlight setting and can go for a really long time. It's 4.37 inches in length. It's got a 1750 max lumen output, so you're going to get some really good on that. 240 meter throw on this. Somebody was arguing with me about how your phone light is good enough to carry with you. Well, my phone light I need my phone for other things, and a phone light is never going to have the brightness and the stability and the usefulness that this kind of light is going to have. And so I would love to have this. It's got a nice knurled grip. Of course, they've got different colors in this. You can get blue, you can get all sorts of different colors. You've got a striker tip on the front of this, so this could be in a pinch used for a weapon if you wanted to. Bam, knock somebody on the noggin. And so you've got just really good details on this. I have been carrying this. This has been my work light for several months now, and Olight was kind enough to send it to me. And this is just an exquisite light. You've got a deep carry pocket clip, first of all. Then you've got a reverse clip to where you can clip this on a hat, clip it on something else that you need to do. And it's got a rechargeable magnetic thing that you can put on the top of this. I don't actually have it with me, but you can attach it to the top of this and it charges magnetically, so you don't have to charge the battery on the inside. This is just a stupendous light, and I did a full review of this, and I'll link it right up here, and you can go take a look at that. But I highly, highly recommend this light. This is the Forest Gradient. It goes from a kind of a forest green to a black. Really like it. You can get this in black, Midnight Horizon, which is a blue color, and then they have a limited edition cracked brass of this. And just a really superb light. Cannot recommend Olight stuff any more than I already do. They are a company that constantly iterates. They constantly innovate. And so make sure that you check the link in the description to get some good stuff from Olight. Can't go wrong with them. This is the Warrior 3 Mini. They didn't issue us K-bars in the Marines, so I would have loved to have had the Civivi Mini Praxis. The Mini Praxis is the best budget knife there is. I did a full review. You can check that out at the link. And it is a wonderful, wonderful knife. It has good action. It has a great D2 steel on it. They've got a couple of different variations of this knife. This has a 3-inch D2 steel blade. Some of them have G10 handles, and others have Ultim handles. You can actually get some of those. Those are brand new, and I'll be sharing some of those here on the channel soon. But at the same time, I would have probably bought 2 or 3 of these to just carry with me. Of course, they didn't issue us K-bars, they didn't issue us knives or anything like that, so you kind of had to figure it out yourself, but I would have absolutely taken a Civivi Mini Praxis with me to Iraq or Afghanistan, and I just love this knife. I got some B-roll that I'm showing here. It is a wonderful, wonderful piece of engineering, and it's $30. $30. I cannot believe how economical and wonderful this knife is. Make sure you use the link below to check out the Civivi Mini Praxis. This is one of those that I would buy over again. If I lost it, if I broke it, I would purchase it again. It's that good. Now, you are gonna laugh at me for this one, but I'm telling you what I wouldn't have done just to have an iPad or an iOS device in 2002, 2003, in Afghanistan, in Iraq. If you were in the Marines or in any service, you know that it is absolutely, we'll go ahead and play this video right here, it is absolutely hurry up and wait. You get to the place, you hurry up, you hurry around, you do all this stuff, and then you're waiting. There's a lot of waiting in the military. It's something that people really don't realize all that much in the military. But to have something like this to be able to load movies onto and to watch television shows and just pass the time, it would have been so, so cool to have. When I think about a device like this, having this 20 years ago would have been amazing. So I thought it would be funny just to kind of put this at the end of my list to say, if you served in the military prior to, I don't know, 2007, 2008, before there were iPhones, before there were iPads, before there were devices like this, tablets that you could take with you, you know the struggle. You know how boring it was. You know how much trouble you got into probably because you were bored. So anyway, I just thought that would be a funny thing to add at the end. And man, I would have absolutely killed for an iPad or something like it back in 2003, sitting in Iraq, not doing anything, waiting for parts to come in for our airplanes, and so I could repair the aircraft and we could finally go home back to North Carolina. Anyways, just thought that would be interesting to add here at the end. Okay, so what would you add? What would you add to your service EDC? It doesn't have to be the Marine Corps, didn't have to be anything like that. What would you add, and what would you have wanted to have when you were in the military for your EDC? Sound off in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you served in the military and you don't want to tell me any of that, you just want to say oorah, Semper Fi, go Army, beat Navy, anything, whatever. If you want to say any of that stuff, let me know. Sound off in the comments. We would love to hear you. Love to support all the veterans out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers. I'm going to say that a few times, but that is just amazing. Thank you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe and share the video. Really appreciate you guys. Semper Fi, do or die. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your week and Veterans Day weekend.